Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis. This is another edition of What the Fugue, where I talk about what's going on with me in my world of comics. A little bit different placement here. I'm actually sitting in front of my computer, so you're kind of seeing off to the side of my disaster of writing desk and whatnot back there. Sitting in front of my computer because some stuff I want to be able to look at while I'm talking, and without having to write a bunch of stuff down and then try to remember it all. So we'll see how much of it I miss and how much of it I don't. Anyway. We'll get to that in just a little bit. First off, what's going on with me? Of course, everybody's been talking about the whole DC 3D cover thing, and I can't really remember how much I've talked about it on my What the Fugue. I've certainly talked about it a ton on Twitter and whatnot. I had made the decision back when you could first start ordering the 3D covers that I would put on my collector hat. And I was going to get all 52 of the 3D covers because I thought it would be cool to have a whole set, the whole thing. So Discount Comic Book Service had a great bundle deal on it, basically half price. So and I did the math. I was going to come close to buying about half maybe anyway. So I thought, let's just get that. I'll get them all. Awesome. Fast forward to our current time that we're in now, and of course we all know that DC didn't even come close to printing enough of a lot of the books. They only sent out X number of books to Diamond to distribute in a certain fashion, and they made the decision as to who was getting how much of their orders. If you're a place that do lots and lots of orders, I'm sure like Midtown Comics and places like that, they're probably great and can probably cover most of whatever they have as far as pre-orders go. Discount Comic Service was going to struggle to hit some of theirs, and I kept getting emails from them saying, hey, if you want to volunteer to take the 2D covers, which they have now put out that are supposed to be first printing 2D covers, which were never part of a deal in the first place, I think we wouldn't have had the confusion that we have if that had been the case. And a bunch of stuff. I mean, there are stores that literally they order 8, they're going to get 1 of some of the covers and stuff. Just a real cluster F, I think, by DC. They had to have this order done extra early, okay? So they supposedly based their ordering off of sales of a certain book. Like, let's just take a random book. Let's say the sales of Batwoman would determine how many, what the average sales of Batwoman was for the last 3 months, would determine how many issues they would print of, there isn't a Batwoman book in the month of September, but I'm just going to make this up. So let's say the month of September it was Batwoman 23.1 and it was the Killer Croc issue. I can't remember whose Killer Croc issue is. And it was the Killer Croc issue, let's say, just because Killer Croc was in that book a lot. The sales from that book, whatever they were, let's say that they were 20,000. That's how many they'd print of that book. And that was it. That's all they printed because it was going to take them longer to print it. So they made this decision to print them based on sales. So some of these books that don't get a lot of sales didn't get a high print run. Of course, what they didn't take into consideration is a lot of people were just going to pick up all the 3D covers, go 3D covers, or people were just generally interested in villains that were tied to books that maybe normally you wouldn't buy. So they didn't print enough. What makes me mad is this is stuff that they could have, knowing that they had to have it even a farther month out than what they normally would. They could have sent that message out to everybody. They could have sent that message out to all the retailers to say, hey, you've got until this date, 4 months in advance instead of the normal 3 months or whatever, to tell us how many of these books you're interested in getting, and then they can make that many. And they chose not to for whatever reason. They picked their educated malarkey, and they're way off. And so there's this battle. I guess it's great for the collector if you get them all, or great for the person who is going to turn around and flip the book. I mean, they're already selling like the Joker for like $40 or $20 or something like that on eBay. The damn comic hasn't even come out yet. And I think it's really interesting because I think the Joker's one of the ones that there's going to be lots of, because it's a Batman book. And of course, the Batman is one of the highest selling books out, so of course it's going to get the much larger print run on his books. But at any rate, very frustrating to me. I kept getting, I was excited about this whole thing, to get these ridiculous 3D covers. I was going to enjoy the spectacle of it. Like I said, I was excited to have a collection. I wanted to be able to put in my long boxes all in one place, this collection of 3D covers, so I could say, look, I have the entire collection of this thing. And, then the emails start coming in. Would you like to swap out? We're going to try our best. It's going to be first come, first serve. And it sucked the fun out of it. It was no longer feeling fun. It was more stress, because every week they were going to send out an email to me telling me what books they were going to struggle to get. And trying to think what books it was. In the first email I got, the books they were going to have a struggle covering, and they were asking for people to volunteer to take the 2D or something different. Initially they asked if you want to do all your books that way, all books in 2D as opposed to 3D, and then they say, now they're sending out a weekly thing to say this is what it's going to be. And the first week of September, this would be the comics that come out on September 4th, Discount Comic Book Service, which services thousands of people, okay? So it's not like they're a small business. Thousands of customers. These are the books that they were going to struggle on. They were going to struggle on Justice League of America 7.1, the Deadshot issue, Superman 23.1, the Bizarro issue, and Batman the Dark Knight 23.1, the Ventriloquist, and Green Lantern 23.1, Relic. Okay, Relic I'm not really that interested in, but those other three I was actually looking forward to. Bizarro, just because Bizarro is always a fun read. So that was just the first week, just to give you an idea what they're struggling with out of those books. So yeah. So 2 days ago. Yesterday, actually. 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I sent an email to Discount Comic Book Service and told them to pull the plug on the whole bundle deal for me. I'm dropping them all. So in the month of September, I will get one DC comic. I'm quote-unquote the DC guy, and I'm getting one book. I'm getting the Forever Evil book, because I am interested in the event. But I'm not getting any of the villain books. I'm not getting the second printings. I'm not getting the 2D covers. Not doing it. Not getting any of them. They just sucked all the fun out of it. Made it a big drag. And I think it's not the... I feel sorry for the retailers. The retailers are put in a very tough spot to trying to figure out who they're going to serve and who they're not going to serve. Outrageous. DC knew about this way in advance. They could have easily dealt with this and it not be the problem that it is. We're on Twitter, we're talking about it, joking with, I think R. Dowdy sent an email to, a Twitter to Dan Didio, kind of half jokingly going, man, I want my books, I want to make sure I got my 3D covers. And he had the nerve to tweet us back that I'm hoping to get mine too. Yeah, right. Like, he's not going to get his books. Give me a break. So, whatever. There's going to be second printings. You can go get a special second printing version of them all, but, that's not nearly as much fun if you're the collector. Tell you the truth, I collect comic books. I have lots of comic books. I do collect some old, I pick up some old books and whatnot. But as a whole, I consider myself more of a reader than a collector. Stuff that's coming out now, I don't look at it and go, ooh, I'm going to get that because that's going to be a cool collector thing. I buy what I want to read. I buy what I'm interested in reading. That I buy it I consume as a reader more than a collector. But this 3D cover thing was one of those things I decided that I was interested in as a collector. And it kind of bit me in the ass, I guess. Or just became no fun. It reached a point of stress that it just was no fun anymore. So I pulled the plug on it. But I did spend that money on something else. I've been kind of teasing it on Twitter. I'm not going to tell you here what it is either that I got. But I got something else instead that I am ecstatic about. Really pleased. I will actually have it tomorrow. Supposedly it will be in the mail tomorrow to me. So I will either do a special video about that, about what I got instead of the 3D covers, or I may show it at the comic book roundtable, which I'm assuming is going to be this Friday, August 16th at 9:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Pacific. So check that out. I'll probably talk about it at the end of the show when we're not talking books and that sort of thing. We'll see. If not, I'll do a special video. Heck, I'll probably do a special video anyway because I know not all of you guys watched that show or want to sit through a couple hours of that to see that. At any rate, so there's that with that whole DC thing and whatnot. Pretty bummed about it, but I'm going to get some other cool stuff out of it instead. So, spend my money someplace else. Speaking of spending money, I keep talking about the fact, some of my no capes and whatnot, that I'll talk about some of the books that are coming out that I'm interested in or that you guys might be interested in stuff. And that's why I'm sitting in front of my computer so I can kind of read what their solicitation for some of these books that I'm going to talk about now. So that way you have an idea of what it's like and it's not just my weird sense of whatever I think the book is going to be about. So, that being said, one of the books that's going to be coming out, and I'm talking about books that are going to come out in October, because these are me doing I just did my comic book order for October, so that's the stuff that I'm looking at as far as new books that are coming out. One of the books I want to talk about is Black Beetle Necrology. It is the next series in the Black Beetle series. The first one was No Way Out, 4 issues. This is written and drawn by Francesco Francavilla. I love his art. I hope you like his art too. Amazing artist, does pulp really well. He's definitely got his own style and his own feel to it. He tends to do covers that look kind of like old movie posters for this series anyway. The cover for the first issue is excellent. It's got his hero, the Black Beetle, on the cover, and behind him it looks like a version of Nosferatu standing there. This is going to be another one of those kind of pulp noirish kind of books. In this one, someone's murdering the citizens of Colt City and on a giant killing spree. And he's got to figure it out. And of course, it gives us a feel that it may be some vampire or vampiric kind of a villain doing it. So that's, I think, going to be exciting and interesting. If you didn't get on the No Way Out one, it's out there on trade. There's second printings if you're interested in those. Even if you didn't read those, you don't have to. You could jump right into this. I'm sure there will not be anything there that's going to make it so confusing that you won't understand what's going on. The comics are always very straightforward as far as that sort of thing goes, to where you don't have to be steeped in knowledge of Black Beetle to know what's going on here. I'm going to take a drink. As far as that. Great stuff. I'm definitely getting it. Another Dark Horse book that's coming out is Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven and the Red Death one-shot, done by Richard Corbin. I've been loving all of these Edgar Allan Poe redos that he's been doing. This one will be the latest one. It comes out on Halloween, October 30th. Is that Halloween? Or is Halloween October 31st? Whatever. It comes out that week. Pretty excited about that. I just been really loving the interpretation of that. If you've missed out on some of the others and you're interested, get this one, because it's not like it's a series. I mean, it is in a sense in that he's redoing a bunch of Poe stuff, but jump on one of them. It's $4 book, phenomenal art, and of course Edgar Allan Poe tells an interesting story, so it should be a great adventure, and I'm hoping everybody picks up. I believe the other Dark Horse book is that I don't know if I'm going to get. I haven't decided yet. I've done my comic book order, but I can still go in and edit it. It's called Grindhouse Doors Open at Midnight, and it's a 8-issue miniseries. written by Alex DeCampi, who I do not know, art by Chris Peterson, who I'm not placing that person right off the top of my head. The cover for the first one I saw is what first attracted me to it, because of course it's a Francavilla cover. It's very pulpy and that sort of thing. And here is the solicitation for it. It's literature overrated, morality expendable. Tonight is right for some over-the-top sex and violence. Bringing the flavor of midnight exploitation flicks to the comics, Grindhouse delivers 4 two-issue gore operas. Starting with Bee Vixens from Mars, pitting a one-eyed southern Latina deputy against lusty alien chicks bent on laying eggs in the entire male population. Okay, it just sounds fun because it knows what it is, and it's just embracing that absurdity, the ridiculousness of the whole grindhouse and exploitation type films and whatnot. Not knowing that you're creating that kind of a monster, bothers me. But when it's embraced and with a certain amount of tongue-in-cheekness to it and that sort of thing, it sounds fun. It sounds fun. So I haven't 100% decided yet if that's if I'm going to get it or not. It sounds fun, and yeah. So I may be picking that up. Another Dark Horse book that I'm going to pick up just to try and see what it's like is The Occultist. It's 1 of 5. It's a 5-issue miniseries. Tim Seeley, who I believe does things like Hack and Slash, which I know the comic book but have not read it, and it's got art by Mike Norton. Of course, a lot of us know from Revival and stuff like that. It looks like might be fun. The solicitations for it is an evil witch doctor needs a book of spells known as the Sword to reject the cultist. He needs the weapon itself to decide that he is a bad host and in an ongoing war against the realm of the dead. The solution lies in a Catholic schoolgirl who dabbles in death for a quick high. I think there are some other occultist books out there. I have no idea. I'm going to give this a try just because I'm looking for a good occult type book. I really like Fatale, and Fatale has a certain cult bent to it, but it's not heavy enough for me for what I want. And the big two aren't putting out really what I would consider an occult book, so I'm going to check this one out to see if that's the case. I was getting Shadow Man from Valiant Comics as a cult type book, and it just hasn't really appealed to me either. So that's what I'm going to go with. Another book I am picking up, I wasn't originally going to pick it up, Me and Sleepy Reader 666. Check him out if you're not subbed to him. I can't imagine why you wouldn't be. Has great thoughts about comic books and whatnot. He's going to be jumping back on the comic book wagon. He said I'd take a break. Me and him are going to review some comics together in a kind of a special way that I'm not going to talk about a whole lot now. We'll get to that in October. But one of the comic books he was going to check out was Shaolin Cowboy. Shaolin Cowboy issue number 1. And I don't know anything about the book, but he said he was picking it up as far as like some no-cape books. And so I'm picking it up to check it out. This book is written and drawn by Jeff Darrow. The Shaolin Cowboy returns. So obviously there were other Shaolin Cowboy books. But nowhere in sight is there a dead Robin, any Infinity Gauntlets, or a single conquering Ultron, just flat out action, intrigue, and plenty of roadkill. Jeff Darrow's slow-talking, kung-fu gripping hero proves once again in this brand new series that the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a chainsaw. So, sounds like it could be a lot of fun. So, gonna pick up that also. Shaolin Cowboy #1. If y'all might be interested in that. So, yeah, that's it for some of the Dark Horse books. Image is putting out a bunch of books. They're putting out Pretty Deadly, which is a book that's been talked about for over a year now, from Kelly Sue DeConnick and Emma Reyes, I want to say is her last name. Let me find it here. See if I can find it, so I can talk about it without missing some part of it. But it is a Western, and I'm a sucker for Westerns, so I'm on board as far as that goes. It's got a female lead character. I'm always interested in if books where they can write a decent female character. Rios, yeah, colored by Jody Belordi. Great looking cover. The first cover looks pretty awesome, I think. It's the only ongoing series that marries the magical realism of Sandman with the Western brutality of Preacher. Death's daughter rides the wind on a horse made of smoke, and her face bears the skull marks of her father. Her tale of retribution is as beautifully lush as it is unflinchingly savage. Doesn't tell you a whole lot about the book, I don't think, but I'm really excited to see it. I have positive feelings about those creators. So I think that it could be pretty damn cool. I think so. Very excited about that one. Another book that's coming out this will be in the October that people might be interested in. I've decided I am not going to pick it up, but I talked about it quite a bit, so I figured I better talk about it here because I was kind of talking like I might pick it up, but I've decided not to. Is a book by Ed Brubaker called Velvet. It's a book that I may pick up in trade later on. I just can't pick up everything, and I decided that I wasn't really captivated by the whole idea of spies, because this is basically a spy book. Stephen Epstein is doing the artwork on it. When the world's best secret agent is killed, Velvet Templeton, a personal assistant to the director of the agency, is drawn off her desk and back into the field for the first time in nearly 20 years, and is immediately caught in a web of mystery, murder, and high-octane action. Sexy and provocative, with dark twist on the spy genre, this extra-length first issue by two of the industry's best-selling creators will knock you out. There's a solicitation for it. If you're reading Fatale, you'll actually get to see a little bit of a backup of it in the back of Fatale. Yeah, I'm not sure. I like those creators. So it's got a strong creator edge to it. So interested in it as far as that goes. Not sure otherwise though. So I'm gonna wait, hear what some of you guys that pick it up might have to say about it. A book I know I'm definitely getting, I knew I was gonna get it the second I heard about it, is a book called 3. It's written by Kieran Gillian and art by Ryan Kelly, colors by Joy Blair again. Pretty much Ryan Kelly's putting a book out, the artist. I'm gonna get it. I really love his art. He was doing Saucer County. That's the most current long-running thing that he was on. Local. He's done lots of stuff with Brian Wood, like Local. He did an excellent run on Northlanders, Hammer and Sickle, or Hammer and Shield, I think is what the arc was called. Excellent. Just really, he masters. His art is beautiful, extremely detailed. The characterization, the way people move, act, and feel is fabulous, I think. I'm really excited about that. Kieran Gillian, I love some of his work, and some of it I'm not sure on, but I'm gonna give this book a shot. I think it sounds like it's going to be great. So it is, and I don't think this is an ongoing, but so this is the solicitation for it. When a member of a Spartan ruling class visits an isolated homestead of Helot workers, and for those of you who don't know anything about that era in time with the Spartans and whatnot, the Helots were they were the people that got beat up by the Spartans all the time. Not in war, but they used them as slaves. They would overrun their camps and whatnot. Anyway, a brutal massacre is only the beginning. So let's see here. So these three creators unite to tell a heroic story of three slaves and their desperate attempt to escape 300 of the finest warriors who ever lived. So basically, this is kind of the telling of the other side of the story. We've got Frank Miller's 300 and the movies that came out and all that kind of stuff about these incredible Spartan warriors, these 300. Well, this is the story about, the people they grind under their heel. Not the people they're struggling against, but the people they basically butcher and torture and enslave to do their grunt work. It's going to be a story about them. And I don't know. I'm intrigued. I think it sounds like it's going to be pretty damn awesome. That's it. That's coming out for this month for Image, I believe. Then coming out in from Vertigo Books, Coffin Hill. Pretty excited about. I think it's going to be a great kind of a horror story, kind of a thing. Written by Caitlin Kittredge, who has written some small-time novels, I believe. Art by Inka Meandra, which I do not know, other than the solicitation pages that I've seen. Looks great. But Coffin Hill stars Eve Coffin, a rebellious teenage lowlife from a high society family with a curse that goes back to the Salem witch trials. Following a night of sex, drugs, and witchcraft in the woods, Eve wakes up naked, covered in blood, and unable to remember how she got there. Sounds like a typical Saturday night for me. One friend is missing, one is in a mental ward, and one knows that Eve is responsible. After a stint as a Boston cop that ends with a bullet wound and unintended celebrity, Eve returns to Coffin Hill, only to discover the darkness that she unleashed 10 years ago in the woods was never contained. It continues to seep through the town, cursing soul of the sleepless Massachusetts Hollow, spinning secrets and enacting its revenge. Set against the haunted backdrop of New England, Coffin Hill explores what people will do for power and retribution. See, it says here, noted novelist Caitlin Kittredge, author of the Black London series, brings smart, mesmerizing style to comics. Artist Inka, I know I'm killing her name, Meandra, who does Fables, brings, his dynamic storytelling to Coffin Hill. Following an acclaimed run on Ferris. So if you like the art that was there, that's the art that'll be in this. I'm excited for it. Sounds creepy, sounds strange, sounds H.P. Lovecraft with flavor as opposed to being dry. I'm excited by that. If you're into that kind of haunting horror kind of thing, I think it's definitely a book to get on. Coffin Hill, issue 1. Let's see what else is coming out from. Of course, there is Sandman Overture comes out. If you've read any of the Sandman, it's a book to jump onto. The art will be insane because it's by J.H. Williams III. So it's just going to be, the whole book is going to be damn over the top. So can't imagine if you're a Sandman fan at all that you're not getting on that book. Let's see, what else? Witching Hour is another one that that's coming out by Vertigo that I am interested in. It is a larger anthology. It's an $8 book is the price tag on it, so of course everybody cringes about that. This is like a lot of the other Vertigo anthology type books they've been putting out. It's got just a whole bunch of stars telling short stories. They've had the kind of twisted sci-fi time warp one. They've had more kind of a gore horror kind of a one. This one's more of a, I think more of a spooky, kind of a thing. You've got, I know there's like Kelly Sue DeConnick's doing it, is in on it. I think Gail Simone's got something in on it. You've got artists like Cliff Chang working on it. It's just going to be a large group of people telling supernatural tales. So excited for that. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Also, another book that I'm going to explore is The Hinter, I believe is the title of it. Sorry for the delay. I should have had this stuff completely mapped out before I... the Hinterkind. One of the reasons I'm picking this one up is because, like I said, I'm ordering through Discount Comic Book Service, and they're giving me a deal if I get all these Vertigo titles. So basically, it's 50% off of the Vertigo title, so it's costing me like $1.29. So, definitely gonna pick it up with that kind of deal just to check it out and whatnot. It has kind of a Fables feel to it to some degree, so I'm not sure 100% what its niche is going to be, but I'm going to explore it. And the solicitations for it is Men go and come, but the earth abides, and that's from Ecclesiastes 1:4 from... So, decades after the blight all but wiped out the human race, Mother Nature is taking back what's hers, and she's not alone. The Hinterkind have returned. From the last lost corners of the world they come, a myriad menagerie of myth and magic. But these aren't childhood fairy tale creatures. They are flesh, blood, and passion, and they have a long simmering hatred for those who drove them into the shadows, the human race. After her grandfather disappears, Prosper Monday, that's an awesome name, Prosper Monday, at least I think it's an awesome name, must leave the security and seclusion of their Central Park village to venture into the wilds and find him, unaware of how much the world has changed or how hungry it has become. So it's going to be an adventure, sounds like an action adventure kind of a book with different renditions of what we would consider the fairy tale critters and creatures back and dominating the earth. So I don't know. I think that sounds pretty cool too. So going to definitely jump on that also. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, I know what it was. It was Letter 44. I've talked about this a couple different times. It is put out by Oni Press. It's written by Charles Scholl. It is, I talked about this on Twitter. Did I mention Twitter too much? I hope not. It is a special discounted book. It costs $1 for the first issue. You are crazy not to pick it up. It costs $1. Pick it up. Oni Press. Go to your store now and order it for $1. I mean, you can't go wrong. I don't think. It's $1. As much as everything else costs. So, written by Charles Soule, art and cover by Alberto Albuquerque. I can't say his name. Sorry. Spanish, I believe, artist. There is something up there. As newly elected President Stephen Blades reads the letter left for him in the Oval Office by his predecessor. Okay, just so you know, for those people who don't know, when a president leaves office, they always write a letter to the next president, telling them whatever. It's just a tradition that's gone on for a very long time now. Telling them, hey, this is what to expect. This is the legacy I was hoping. Good luck, better you than me, whatever it says. And it's still letter 43, this is letter 44, okay? Just so we're on board with that. The Oval Office by his predecessor. He learns this stunning secret. 7 years earlier, NASA discovered an alien construction project in the asteroid belt. A crew of heroic astronauts was sent to investigate, and they're nearing the conclusion of their epic journey. Don't miss the first chapter in this thrilling tale of real-world space travel, intrigue, and secret histories. So basically, I listened to the writer back in Emerson Comment in March talk about this book. Got me very excited about it. I mean, basically, the whole idea is the president gets this letter, and in the letter, it's kind of a version of George W. Bush giving a letter to a version of kind of Obama, but not really. But that's kind of the premise. That's the time frame that this was set in. And so he gets this letter, and in the letter it explains basically, hey, look, all these wars that we're in, that we started and whatnot, this was all to get us ready for the potential of what's going to come. We didn't really need to fight those wars, but we need veterans. We need people who are war savvy, and the only way we're going to get that, because it's been too long since the other wars we had, is to have these wars, because we don't know what's up there in space. You know, in like a couple weeks, these heroes, these astronauts that we've secretly sent out that nobody knows about, are going to make contact of some sort. And so God knows what's going to happen. So the story, I think, is going to be basically set in two places. One, here on Earth with this president with all this secret information. You know, he comes into the office with all this visions of hope and change and all this stuff. And then he's given this landmine of a letter saying, you know, all this stuff you thought, this is the reality of it. And it's like, oh shit, you know. And then the other part of the story is going to be literally, it's hard science. The writer went to great lengths to talk to NASA people and whatnot. You know, if we were going to send somebody into space on a long-term space mission, how do we do it right now? Do we have the technology? How close, if money wasn't the issue, how would we do it? And so there's a lot of hard science in there of them getting out to space. They're out there. What does that mean? They're going to engage all this stuff potentially. And I just think it's going to be a really fascinating, really interesting read. First issue's $1. Jump on board. I'm very excited by the book. Can you tell? I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be an exciting book. I hope everybody takes advantage of the fact it's $1. So yeah, that's it. This has gone on probably way too long. I don't know how many of you are actually going to watch this whole thing. Thank you for watching. I want to add one more thing here now. A month from now, basically, will be my 2 years doing YouTube videos. And I want to do something special. I want to have, besides like the goofy last year's anniversary thing where I just did a video, you know, I did a bunch of outtakes and stuff like that. Quite frankly, I don't have the outtakes to do another year of that because with my computers dying and stuff, I've lost a lot of information along the way as far as little tidbits and those extra bits and pieces. But I want to do something. I want to do something fun and to give back. So I don't know if I want to do a contest, because I kind of feel bad about doing a contest because I don't enter a lot of your guys' contests. And it's not that I don't watch the videos and that I'm not interested. And I'm not 100% sure why I avoid the contest. Partially because a lot of times I don't want to win. I like being part of the community and doing the stuff, but I don't feel the need to have to win something to be part of that. And so lots of times I don't enter them because of those kinds of things. So I feel kind of like a hypocrite if I were to do some sort of a contest. So what do you think? Am I a hypocrite if I do some sort of a contest even though I don't enter other people's contests and I hope that people are going to enter mine? I think I'm going to have some cool stuff to maybe hand out. I don't know if win's the word I want to use. But I want to do something. I want it to be, you know, somewhat interactive. I've really liked everybody else's question thing. Should I do a question thing? Are you interested in asking me questions that I haven't already told you about in some sense? You know, so maybe I'll do something like that. But I want you guys involved. I mean, I don't want to ask you guys silly questions like, oh, what's your favorite comic book? I mean, everybody's answered that a million places. But it'd be cool to get some video responses back for whatever I do. But I don't know what that is. So if you've got any ideas, anything you're interested in seeing me produce on my end, as far as that kind of a thing, or got some witty idea about what might be fun, or things you've seen other people do that were fun that you might be interested in with me too, let me know if you're one of those people that have lasted this long through this thing to watch this far. Because I want to do something. I want to do something because it's a great place. It's a special place. So I'll talk more about that when I actually do a video based on that. So I better cut this short because I'm sure it's way too long now. At any rate, see you later on in the week, and hope everybody's having a great one. Bye.